Who are the Biafran people? Welcome, and thank you for joining us on this journey. Have you ever wondered, who are the Biafran people? They're more than just a name tied to a war. You're about to discover a story of rich culture, unbreakable spirit, and a fight for identity that the world almost forgot. The Biafran people are a symbol of resilience, rooted in vibrant traditions, with a history of courage in the face of unimaginable challenges. But here's the truth. Biafra's story isn't just about the past. It's alive today, in the hearts and voices of millions. So, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know who the Biafran people are, but you'll feel connected to a story of hope, strength, and pride that still echoes around the world. You're not just watching history, you're becoming part of the conversation. Welcome. Who are the Biafran people? Hello and welcome back to our channel. Have you heard of the Biafran people and their fight for identity? Rooted in southeastern Nigeria, the Biafra, primarily of Igbo heritage, represent a resilient community with a remarkable cultural and historical story often overshadowed by the past. Who are the Biafran people, and why does their story still stir emotions across the world today? They're more than just a name from history books. The Biafran people represent a powerful tale of identity, resilience, and the fight for freedom against impossible odds. From the heart of Nigeria to the world's star, their struggle sparked a war, a humanitarian crisis, and a movement that refuses to be forgotten. But Biafra is more than just a tragic chapter. It's a story of hope, cultural pride, and a legacy that lives on today. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand not just who the Biafran people are, but why their story still matters. And you'll see the Biafran people in a way history books never showed you, the untold story of the Biafran people. Who are the Biafran people? You've probably heard of the tragic Biafran War, the heartbreaking images of famine, and the struggle for independence. But their story goes much deeper than that. The Biafran people are part of a rich, vibrant culture with deep roots in tradition, resilience, and identity. They fought not just a war for land, but a battle for existence, dignity, and freedom. But here's the part no one talks about. Biafra's spirit never died. It lives on in the hearts of millions today. Biafra, more than a war, a people's legacy. When people hear Biafra, they think of war, famine, and tragedy. But what if I told you that's only part of the story? The Biafran people are more than just survivors. They're innovators, artists, and proud custodians of a culture that refused to be erased, even in the face of overwhelming odds. So, who are the Biafran people? They're a symbol of resistance, hope, and the unbreakable human spirit. Stick around, because this isn't just history. It's a story that's still unfolding today. Who are the Biafran people? A story of identity and resistance. Imagine being part of a people whose very identity sparked a conflict that shook the world. A struggle that wasn't just about borders, but about survival, culture, and freedom. These are the Biafran people, and their story isn't just about the past. It's a story of resilience. How a people fought to be seen, heard, and remembered against impossible odds. But here's the question. What happened to Biafra after the war? And why does their legacy still inspire movements today? Stay with me, because the answer will change how you see history and the power of the human spirit. Biafra, the people who refuse to be forgotten. Who are the Biafran people? To some, they're a chapter in history books, but to millions, they're a living, breathing symbol of courage and resistance. In the face of war, famine, and global indifference, the Biafran people held on to one thing: hope. Hope for freedom, hope for identity, hope for a future where their story wouldn't be forgotten. And today, that story is still being written. Stick around because once you hear it, you'll understand why Biafra's legacy continues to inspire the world. The Biafran people, a story the world tried to forget. What if the most powerful story of resilience and identity wasn't in your history books? The Biafran people fought for more than just independence. They fought for their right to exist, to be heard, and to define their own destiny. But even after the war ended, their struggle didn't. Their culture, their voice, their spirit lived on. And it's a story the world needs to hear. So, who are the Biafran people? Stay with me, because this isn't just a story of the past. It's a fight that continues today. Who are the people of Biafra? The people of Biafra trace their origins to southeastern Nigeria, home to one of Africa's most vibrant ethnic communities. Known for their rich culture and traditions, they have thrived as a society built on trade, arts, and innovation. Their history stretches back centuries, leaving behind an enduring legacy. In the mid-20th century, Biafra became a global symbol of self-determination. The Nigerian Civil War, 1967 to 1970, emerged as a pivotal moment as they sought to establish an independent republic. This conflict, though devastating, highlighted their determination to preserve their identity and autonomy against incredible odds. The Igbo, the predominant ethnic group of Biafra, are renowned for their entrepreneurial spirit and achievements in education, industry, and literature. Their music, short, and festivals inspire historians and scholars to explore how cultural resilience plays a powerful role in a community's survival story. Indigenous people of Biafra. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, is a separatist group in Nigeria that aims to restore the defunct Republic of Biafra, a country which seceded from Nigeria in 1967 prior to the Nigerian Civil War and was subsequently dissolved following its defeat in 1970. Since 2021, IPOB and other Biafran separatist groups have been fighting a low-level guerrilla conflict in southeastern Nigeria against the Nigerian government. The group was founded in 2012 by Nnamdi Kanu, who has been the leader, and Uche Mefo, who served as the deputy leader. Kanu is a British political activist known for his advocacy of the contemporary Biafran independence movement. The name Biafra gained international attention during the Biafran War, 1967 to 1970, a tragic secessionist conflict. The war, fueled by ethnic tensions and political disputes, led to immense suffering, famine, and loss. Yet, the courage of the Biafran people in pursuing self-determination left an indelible mark on African history, proudly showcasing their values of family, hard work, and creativity. It was declared a terrorist organization by the Nigerian government in 2017 under the Nigerian Terrorism Act, but the declaration was nullified by a high court sitting in Enugu in 2023. As of May 22, the United Kingdom started denying asylum to members of IPOB who allegedly engaged in human rights abuses, though the UK government clarified that IPOB had not been designated as a terrorist organization. IPOB has criticized the Nigerian federal government for poor investment, political alienation, inequitable resource distribution, ethnic marginalization, and heavy military presence, extrajudicial killings in the southeastern, south-central, and parts of north-central regions of the country. The organization rose to prominence in the mid-2010s and is now the largest Biafran independence organization by membership. In recent years, it has gained significant media attention for becoming a frequent target of political crackdowns by the Nigerian government. It also has numerous sites and communication channels serving as the only trusted social apparatus educating and inculcating first-hand information and news to its members. Biafra had previously existed as an independent multi-ethnic republic, consisting of the Igbo peoples to name a few, and was declared by Lieutenant Colonel Odumegwu Ojukwu for 3 years. 1997 through 1970. The federal government fought hard to preserve the Federal Republic of Nigeria and did not like the idea of an independent state of Biafra. The result of tensions between Biafra and the federal government resulted in the Nigerian Civil War that went on for 3 years. There were an estimated 1 to 3.5 million deaths that were heavily civilian casualties caused by starvation and death on the side of Biafra. In 1970, the Biafran forces surrendered through the armistice brokered by the defunct OAU. The leader of the indigenous people of Biafra is Nnamdi Kanu, who is a dual British and Nigerian citizen. He created IPOB after he initially gained fame from his broadcasts on Radio Biafra, which was established in 2009. This was a radio station from London that broadcast messages that called for freedom of Biafrans and criticized corruption in the government of Nigeria. Radio Biafra catalyzed Kanu's rise to the public scene as he was previously an unknown figure. Kanu was arrested by the Nigerian security forces on 19th of October 2015 on charges of sedition, ethnic incitement, and treasonable felony. On occasion of Kanu's second arrest in June 2021, he appointed Simon Ekpa as the lead broadcaster of Radio Biafra and spokesperson for IPOB pending his release. However, Ekpa has been a controversial figure within IPOB, especially when he began to argue that Kanu could no longer lead the movement due to being imprisoned. By late 2022, other IPOB leaders like Media and Publicity Secretary Emma Powerful were openly denouncing Ekpa. Indigenous people of Biafra has brought both local and international attention to the plight of Ndigbo in Nigeria. Indigenous people of Biafra and Ambazonia Governing Council had established an alliance in early April 2021 when Nnamdi Kanu and Ayaba Cho Lucas met in a virtual press conference. There have been many other pro-Biafran groups that have come into existence. The movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra, MASOB, began gaining attention in the early 2000s, along with the Biafra Zionist movement, BZM, which rose to the spotlight in 2012. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, emerged in 2012 as well after these other groups. IPOB emerged to continue the movement that had been championed by MASOB. MASOB was formed in 1999 by its national leader Ralph Uwazuruike. However, the organization was severely weakened due to alleged state repression and disagreement within the group about leadership. MASOB accused Uwazuruike of associating himself with mainstream Nigerian politics instead of furthering the cause of Biafra. These conflicts contributed to the formation of another faction named BZM. BZM leader Benjamin Igwe Onwuka and many members of the group were arrested for treason by the Nigerian government at a rally that took place on 5 November 2012 in the region of Enugu. BZM's activities were scaled down because of arrests and trials of many lead members of the organization. Both of these pro-Biafran groups set up the rise of IPOB, which continues championing the same causes. There has been a recent peaceful protest in Nigeria regarding IPOB. The organization's leader and a prominent activist named Nnamdi Kanu was arrested by Nigeria's Department of State Services on the 19th of October 2015. In response to his arrest, there has been a group of pro-Biafran protesters who have been leading marches in eastern parts of Nigeria to push for his release. His arrest has pushed IPOB supporters into gaining further traction as their mobilization grew. There have been many protesters and police clashes. On the 2nd of December 2015, 9 protesters and 2 policemen were killed at a protest in Onitsha, Anambra State. Since that date, there have been thousands of protesters who have been reportedly killed by policemen and militia paid by the government in Aba, Onitsha, Enugu, and Umuahia. The rising protests are attributed to the claimed political disenfranchisement among the Igbo people and the trauma that continues as an effect of the Nigerian Civil War. There are weekly lockdowns in many towns in southeast Nigeria, and many pro-Biafra citizens and others have been unable to leave their homes. The lockdown became prominent since the extradition of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya, and a Monday sit-at-home order was imposed by IPOB on the entire southeast geopolitical zone as a protest. Also, IPOB declared a sit-at-home order for any day Mr. Kanu appears in court. However, on July 21, 2023, Nnamdi Kanu, through his lawyer and IPOB's media and publicity secretary, Emma Powerful, cancelled the Monday IPOB sit-at-home order hitherto imposed on southeast states. IPOB supporters have cited historical events such as the 2016 election of President Donald Trump and Britain's vote to exit the European Union as proof of international support for self-determination. According to many sources, Donald Trump's victory provides hope for the IPOB group in their ability to secede from Nigeria. Trump's political interests are in line with supporting Biafra because of oil pursuits. U.S. oil company outputs in Nigeria have been cut by militants in the Niger Delta who have been continually attacking pipelines. Therefore, IPOB figures contend that it is within the United States' economic interest to support the Biafran secessionist movement due to agitations in the region. However, as of yet, Trump has made no public statement in support of Biafran self-determination. The pro-Biafran protesters are calling for the immediate release of Nnamdi Kanu and other Biafran activists that have been jailed. Most importantly, they want an independence referendum to have a date set by the government. The editor of pro-Biafran media outlet, Voice of Biafra, Nabui Konadede, stated that the Igbo people suffer from a lack of resources and investment from the Nigerian government. The main reason for their protests are because they want the opportunity to vote for independence. On the 18th September 2017, the Federal High Court in Abuja declared IPOB a terrorist organization. The IPOB have fought against this prescription and sought to reverse the court's decision in 2018. In 2023, a high court sitting in Enugu State nullified IPOB's prescription and awarded 8 billion naira damages, thereby declaring the prescription unconstitutional. According to sources, the Nigerian state has utilized violent and excessive police force in order to silence pro-Biafran movements. This police violence has been ongoing from 2014, first targeting Masobi and IPOB after its formation. In 2008, Masobi claimed that 220 of their members had been massacred and extrajudicially killed by the state. Amnesty International released a report detailing that countless IPOB protesters were killed between the 29th through 30th May 2016 during a governmental operation wanting to prevent IPOB members marching from Enkpor Motor Park to a rally. The Nigerian army claims that they were acting in self-defense and that the death count lies at 5 instead of 50. These killings have not been investigated by Nigeria, despite urgings from Amnesty International. Human rights organizations have been keeping records of extrajudicial killings in Biafra. They claim that from August 2015 through February 2016, 170 unarmed civilians were killed, and that 400 were arrested, charged, or detained without a proper trial. The leader of IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has failed to appear in court since April 25, 2017, to answer to the charges against him by the federal government. He had previously been detained without trial for over a year and was arraigned on November 8, 2016, for charges of criminal conspiracy, membership of an illegal organization, and intimidation. He was granted bail after several public agitations, including World Igbo Summit Group in April 2017, because of health concerns that the judge said needed better medical attention that couldn't be provided by the prison. However, he was barred from granting interviews, meeting in groups, larger than 10 individuals, organizing and attending rallies or social functions. Kanu disappeared after September 2017 after a premeditated attack on his home village Umuahia by the combined forces of the Air Force and Army. Through a radio Biafra broadcast, he explains that his disappearance is because President Muhammadu Buhari sent the military to execute him in his home. The military denies the occurrence of this raid, despite an obvious video footage of the gruesome attack. There has been speculation that Kanu had fled to Israel for safety after a Facebook livestream video depicted an individual resembling Kanu praying at the Western Wall in Jerusalem. The Israeli Foreign Ministry stated that Israel cannot confirm this allegation, as they do not have any evidence of Kanu in the country. Now the court has revoked the bail of Kanu, and the trial judge Binta Nyako has ordered the immediate arrest of Kanu and stated that his treasonable felony will proceed despite his absence. On June 29, 2021, the Nigerian government announced that Nnamdi Kanu had been rearrested. He was subsequently charged to court again and remanded in the custody of the Department of State Services. In August 2020, the Department of State Services, DSS, were accused by IPOB of killing 21 of its members and arresting 47 members across different locations. The DSS claims 2 of its officers were killed by IPOB members. Both sides accused each other of firing the first shot and that the attack was unprovoked. Casualties cannot be independently verified. Following the incident, IPOB vowed to retaliate and called on its members to start practicing self-defense. On December 12, 2020, Kanu announced the formation of the Eastern Security Network, ESN, a regional security force, which he said its purpose is to flush out bandits and illegal forest occupants that always clash with farmers in Biafra land. The Nigerian army deployed to locate ESN camps 2 weeks later. On January 22nd, Nigerian soldiers invaded Orlu to search for ESN operatives. 8 buildings were burnt and 1 person was killed in the ensuing events. Security forces re-invaded the area 3 days later, clashing with the ESN and killing at least 5 people before being repulsed by the ESN. 4 Nigerian soldiers were killed in the fighting. The Nigerian army withdrew, and in the following days, Nigerian Air Force planes and helicopters deployed to search for ESN operatives in and around Orlu. Before the Nigerian army could launch another attack, Kanu ordered the ESN to cease fire and withdraw from Orlu, ending the crisis. Shortly after the Orlu crisis, IPOB gave all the governors of southeast Nigeria 14 days to ban open grazing, threatening to deploy the ESN to enforce a ban if the authorities did not do so. On April 9, 2021, IPOB formally allied itself with the Ambazonia Governing Council, AGOVC, and the Ambazonia Defense Forces. The alliance was denounced by the interim government of Ambazonia as well as by other Biafran separatist groups. According to a BBC News Pidgin report, the Nigerian army raided the IPOB headquarters, seizing weapons in a joint operation with state services and IRT operatives. Nigerian Army Police Intelligence Response Team. Government officials described it as a success. In course of the insurgency, IPOB militants have been accused of committing war crimes such as murdering civilians, including children. One of the most notable attacks were the May 22 Anambra State killings. United States. IPOB has sought support from the right-wing Trumpist movement in the United States, and IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu attended a Donald Trump rally in Iowa as a special guest at the invitation of the Republican Party of Iowa. Donald Trump designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern, which Nigerian journalist Garba Shehu alleges was a result of IPOB funding right-wing American lobbyists to influence U.S. foreign policy towards Nigeria. Bruce Fine, a conservative American lawyer, has frequently spoken out in support of IPOB and Nnamdi Kanu. After defeating Trump in the 2020 presidential election, Joe Biden reversed the decision to designate Nigeria as a country violating religious freedom, resulting in criticism from Christian and right-wing groups and lawmakers in the United States. Today, the legacy of the Biafran people endures as a reminder of their resilience amid unimaginable challenges. Conversations about Biafra continue to inspire discussions on unity, independence, and the importance of preserving cultural identity in the face of adversity. The Biafran people's story is one of strength, survival, and an unyielding pride in who they are. Historians, it's time to delve deeper into Biafra's story, explore their past, embrace their voice, and join the movement to preserve and share this profound history. Unearth the lessons of Biafra today and let their legacy inspire your research and storytelling. Dive deeper into their journey and join the conversation about forgotten histories. Today, the legacy of the Biafran people endures as a reminder of their resilience amid unimaginable challenges. Conversations about Biafra continue to inspire discussions on unity, independence, and the importance of preserving cultural identity in the face of adversity. The Biafran people's story is one of strength, survival, and an unyielding pride in who they are. Dive deeper into their journey and join the conversation about forgotten histories. Follow us for more untold stories and share this with fellow history lovers. The resilience of the Biafran people. Beneath the shadows of history lies a story of unyielding courage, the tale of the Biafran people. From the ashes of war, famine, and despair, they rose with unshaken hope, etching their legacy into the annals of resilience. What kept their spirit alive against all odds? The Biafran War ignited more than battles. It sparked a fight for identity and survival. Despite devastating losses, the Biafran people stood firm, determined to preserve their heritage. Their story is not just one of suffering, but of unbroken resolve, unity, and an enduring thirst for freedom. Though silenced by global politics, the resilience of the Biafran people reverberates as inspiration. Their journey is a lesson in standing tall amidst adversity, preserving culture, and resisting oppression. They remind us that the human spirit can rebuild and thrive even in the darkest of times. The story of the Biafran people is not just history, it's a call to action. Let us amplify their voice, learn from their trials, and ensure their legacy endures. Dive deeper, share their story, and honor their resilience. Together, we breathe life into history and forge connections across time. And that's the remarkable story of the Biafran people, a story of identity, resilience, and an unshakable spirit that has stood the test of time. But remember, this isn't just history. Biafra's legacy lives on, in the languages spoken, the cultures celebrated, and the hearts of people around the world today. If this story moved you, inspired you, or even made you curious to learn more, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below. Let's keep this conversation alive. And if you found value in this journey, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss more powerful stories like this one. Thank you for watching, for listening, and for keeping the spirit of the Biafran people alive. You're part of this story now, too. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep history alive.